So group one, we'll go ahead and start with you. I went ahead and recorded it us here yet again. So let me share screen. What I'll do is I'll play through the clips. We'll watch the clip, and then group one or whoever it is, if you guys want to talk through it, that'll work for me as we go through.
You got it, Tony?
Yeah, I think Rod, I think you've got it right with the direction, and Don, you definitely nailed the specific rule within the book. So,
all right, here's the clip, and I'll just kind of let this one play. This is from our regional in 2019. All right, what'd you guys have here as this one kind of rolls on?
Well, we had some good discussion on it, and we definitely, said the umpire has, the umpire judgment comes into play here. Unlike some other federations, there's not a direct ruling on that type of a slide that would tell you exactly what to do. So then we had good discussion. We looked at the rule book and kind of came up with, potentially 605L or 709E. There were some different opinions on what would have been called. Some said they would have got 2 outs. Others said they would not have gotten 2 outs. So I would have relied on 709E, which discusses a batter or runner who's just been retired, hindering or impeding. That ruling doesn't say you have to be sure there would have been the second out. It said, did he hinder or impede a fielder? Any following play being made on a subsequent runner. So,
yeah,
I personally would have leaned towards 2 outs on that.
Cool. And we did get a double play in this clip from this regional. So one thing here to make sure, and Don, you mentioned this one, is to realize that we do not have a force play slide rule like the NCAA does or like high school does. So we have no direction for this runner to go into second base. And remember, the only rule that we have that we can automatically get a double play on is if a runner willfully and intentionally interferes with the fielder fielding a batted ball. So This here is a throw. So Don, I think you're absolutely right, and this is after a retired runner, which is where I would go ahead and get that second out here in this case. Okay. The other thing to at least make sure of, and we're working a multi-member crew in this. So if you're U2 in this situation, like there is no reason for you to do anything other than just watch this play and then watch it even when after 3 or 4 seconds after it's over with. So there's no reason if you're U2 for your eyes to go off of this play, off these 2 individuals here, the runner and the fielder, and then on to first base in this multi-member crew, unless you have responsibility for making both calls, obviously. But here in a 4-man, you've got second base. You should just have your head and eyes right there. And as you see our umpire in this clip, he kind of sees it out of the back end of his eye. And you can see he's definitely looking as we go through this. He's definitely looking towards first base. And rather, he should then be still focused on that play at second. So that was one thing to go ahead and point out. There's a couple different rules I think you guys pointed out as well. And again, you just got to be careful here. It's not a batted ball. It's, after a retired runner here in this case and his interference with a thrown ball. All right.
Stu, quick question.
Yes, sir.
On the angle that went straight down the line between first and second, isn't it pretty clear that the runner's hand was probably going to the bag, but his feet were clearly going towards the fielder? And would that have any impact on the judgment of the umpire's call?
No, because we don't have any rule whatsoever that says that he has to slide directly to the base or anything like that here. And Tom, if I'm misspeaking, by all means, jump in and muzzle me, please. But we have no specific rule set whatsoever that says he has to slide directly to the base. All right. And then he obviously, in this slide and in this contact, interferes with that fielder's attempt on making a throw.
yeah, Stu, one of the things that came up with as we were discussing this is if judgment could also come into play on whether or not there was a real ability to get the double play.
I'll see you, Megan. Thank you. No, not really, because what we have then is we have to adjudge the fact that this interference affected us to even being able to know that one. So clearly his attempt to make this throw, with that contact, he's not going to be able to make a true throw over to first base. So that has no impact whatsoever.
Okay.
Because the interference essentially caused that.
Okay.
Good.
And Stu, just for clarification, you may want to go back and look. I don't know if 709J applies to this.
I may have gotten fat fingers on that.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I'll take a look.
yeah, that's fine. I just, because when I was reviewing the rules and I just did, I don't think it applies, but maybe it does, and I missed it. Thank you.
I'll take a look. Yeah, no problem, Don. All right, group two. Go ahead and unmute yourselves here, and we'll go ahead and talk through this situation. I can't remember what clips are what, so we'll go ahead and go through here in group two and see what exactly they've got. I'll let the clip roll here so that we can all revisit this one.
This one
Infield
has a
fly roll
smorgasbord.
situation. The ball drops. And then we had kind of the first baseman and R1 interfere with each other. Now, here, what I was trying to show you as I zoomed in was this one was actually not caught by or not touched by the catcher. So this is actually a foul ball. So I know it wasn't very clear here as group two for us to talk about, but that's the case there. I'll run it back here one more time for us to see. Group two, as it's rolling here, go ahead and talk us through what exactly you all talked about here, what you came in to rule.
Well, we actually kind of thought that the video showed that the ball touched the shin guard in fair territory. If that's the case, you got a big mess you got to sort out. You got to figure out what do you do with the two guys bumping by first base. And I think we had kind of decided that in that particular case, we didn't have obstruction. So if you've got interference, then you've got to immediately call a dead ball. That runner's out. You award batter runner first base. But if you don't have interference and you just let the thing go, and the ball did in fact touch the catcher in fair territory, then you've got the batter runner out at first base, and obviously R1 made it second base. If you want to call obstruction a delay type B there, he's going to get second base anyway. Doubtful you give him beyond that bag.
Yeah. So what did you guys call interference here on R1?
Yeah. I believe that was the consensus.
I think so.
Yeah. So I've definitely got R1 interference here, like we kind of talked about. Like he definitely takes away in this clip, this collision right here, takes away the fielder's, the first baseman's ability to come make a play on this one. Okay. And as you can kind of see where this one drops, I mean, this would have been a first baseman's play here. All right. So like you guys said, this is interference. All right. Now it's an infield fly rule situation. So we've got to kind of talk about priorities. First of which is fair foul. So remember, anytime it's on the line, we're going to say infield fly if fair. And then
For the record, we totally missed there was a runner on second base also.
Right. I was just going to say that, George. We totally missed that scenario.
Okay. So then let's talk our way through this one here. So the interference is then going to happen there, and we have to call it dead at that point, but the ball's still in the air. So here's essentially what you can get out of this. Number one, you can get one out because of the interference because of R1 here in this case. So you've got the interference there. Now we've got to let the play kind of unfold because of the infield fly. And if this one is caught in fair territory, you have two outs. And that's the only instance you'll have two outs in this situation, is if you have an infield fly that's fair and the interference. Now, if this ball is caught over foul territory, you still only have one out and you would return the hitter to bat again, okay, because it's a foul ball. Now, in this case here, because the ball drops in foul territory or drops and then is declared foul, we only have interference on R1. We return the batter back to hit again because of the foul ball, and we do get one out because of that interference. One more time to roll it back, and if anybody has any questions as I'm rolling this one back, go ahead.
Are you sure that it was foul? We felt like it was fair.
Yeah, and if it's fair in this case, then you have two outs because you've got interference here, and then you've got the batter out because of the infield fly.
I mean,
This is very much like the Little League play. How many rules came into play on one pop fly?
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's good. All right. And then there's a couple different rules that'll come into play here, as you mentioned here, George. The infield fly rule, and then 709J is the one we got where the fielder was impacted in his ability to field the ball by the R1 in this case.
Right.
All right. Let me get out of this here. Stop sharing. I'm gonna make sure that here. All right. Let's go through one more clip, then I'll let you guys go because I want to make sure, and we can come back to those other different clips next week here. So Whether or not we're able to join in or what, we'll go from there. So let's go ahead and then take a look at this third clip, and then I'm going to go ahead and call it a day here for us to talk about that. So let me get that lined up. All right, here is clip number 3. So group 3, you guys are on the docket. Wild pitch here with the batter, runner at third base coming home. And the ball hits, okay? The ball hits the batter who is out of the box, okay? All right, there it is. So what do you guys have here on this play? Group 3. Unmute yourself, group 3.
There, Rex, I'll start talking, and then if you want to like take over or anything like that, because you brought in something that I wasn't even thinking about, so I don't want to take credit for that. And Andrew had to leave. He said that he was teaching while trying to do so. We had interference here on the batter. As a result, we have an out. Now the question is though is we don't know Stu in this example, and we can't tell from that little like ESPN Sports Center scoreboard. Right. We don't know how many outs there are. And that was something that Rex had brought up. I don't want to steal credit from him about thinking about that because the amount of outs is going to affect whether we have R3 out or whether we have the batter being out, which would then affect who comes off to lead off the top of the next inning if we had 2 outs specifically.
For sure. So Rex or no, whoever wants to answer the question, in what situation would would the runner be out here? How many outs would you need in the inning?
Rex, I don't know if he's there.
Oh, okay.
That was his. For the is he coming in? Is that him?
No, that's me.
Okay. Stu, can you repeat your question?
So you're right on, Noah, and so is Rex here, that we could potentially have a situation where the runner is out in this case. Okay.
R3?
Yeah. So in what situation would R3 be out here for batters interference?
Less than 2 outs?
With 2 outs.
It's 1 o'clock.
Wait, did you say the runner or the batter runner?
The runner.
No.
R3?
Yes.
All right, so
I'll go through here, Noah, and you're right on in which exactly you guys talked about, so we can wrap up. But so this one gets away, and then the batter here interferes with it. So in this case, there were actually, I think, like 1 out in the inning. So in this case, the batter's going to be out in this situation. If there were 2 outs in the inning, the runner would be out, and this hitter would return back to bat at the top of the inning or at the next inning. Okay? So here go ahead, Tom.
Stu, John, just after you get done explaining the rule, could you run that clip again?
Yeah, in fact, I'll do that while I'm talking through it here.
Okay.
So here with this situation, again, he's out of the box. He interferes with the catcher's ability to make a play on the runner at the plate. It goes off of him. There's 1 out in the inning, so the batter's going to be out here in this situation. Now, Noah, since you're the only one of your group left, what did you guys do with the runners here in this case because you have batter's interference? What happens to R3 and what happens to R2?
So you return them to where they were. So R3 back to second, or R3 back to third, and R2 back to second.
Yep, and remember, on any interference like this, we have the ability to return these batter or place these runners basically where we think they were at the time of interference. It's not a time of the pitch award. It's a time of the interference, in which case here their last legally acquired then would be both third. R3 would go back to third. R2 would go back to second base here in this case. Now, the last kind of point for me to make here is, for whatever reason, if this ball would have ricocheted off of the batter and still got delivered to the fielder and we had an out at the plate, that out would stand. So you'd have like a delayed interference situation here. So if the batter interferes with the catcher's ability to make a play on a runner or at home plate, we let the play develop, because if we get an out of it, despite the interference, that out and that play then stands. However, what's that, Noah?
Is that a delayed dead ball?
So yeah, we just kind of let this one play out, and it's specific to this situation because it's the catcher's ability to make a play on a runner or at home plate.
Right.
Stu, did you say before 2 outs, the batter's out?
So before 2 outs, yeah, the batter's out here because it's batter's interference.
No.
I think the
Before 2
runner's
outs,
out.
before 2 outs, the runner is out.
Oh, yes.
When
I'm
there
sorry.
are 2 outs, you call the batter out. Yes, Stu just flipped it over on himself.
Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead and clarify
just-
that for me, Tom.
That's okay. And just guys, from a mechanical point of view, if Stu plays this clip again, or if you have a chance to look at it on your own later, this plate umpire makes a classic mistake on the passed ball. He doesn't know where that ball is. He starts focusing on the play about to happen at home plate. I don't know that he ever saw that throw hit the batter's helmet in real time. He may have figured it out based on what occurred, but I don't know that he really saw that interference happen. Just something to bear in mind. We can't have anything without the baseball. If you don't know where that is, you're setting yourself up for a real mess.
So
So,
again, go
I'm
ahead.
confused. I'm sorry, I'm confused. So with less than 2 outs, the runner is out. With 2 outs, the batter is out. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
Thank you.
Sorry, I spoke over that one way too many times. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and stop it there and go ahead and call it a day here for us. We'll come back to those other clips next week, and I'll just push back what we had set for next week, the wedge stuff, the week after. So we'll start with group 4, 5, and 6, and even if you guys, whoever's on the call next week, we can jump on and talk about it and kind of start with clips 5, 6, and hopefully get to 7, and we'll call it that way. I'll have an announcement pushed out to you guys here soon for what day next week, probably Friday again at 12:30. But thanks again, guys, for joining us, and we look forward to seeing everybody next week. Good work today.
Thank you, Stu.
Yep.
Thanks,
Thanks, guys.